Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to episode 4. I cannot believe that this is already the 4th episode of this podcast. It is currently Saturday, March 30th when I'm filming this. So happy Easter to everybody. And yes, I guess we can just get right into it. I don't have much chit chat today, and I actually have a lot more works in progress. I think I only have 1 or 2 finished objects, but I have a lot of works in progress, which is actually why I decided to film this video. So in my last video, I said that March was a busy month for me school-wise, so I wasn't sure how much knitting time I was going to get, but I actually ended up getting a lot more knitting and crochet done than I actually thought I would. So yeah. So I'm going to show you that. There's a lot of works in progress. It was kind of the month where I couldn't just sit down and work on one project. I wanted to be working on multiple projects at the same time. But yes, so let's just get into it. So my first work in progress is a pair of shorty socks. Now I kind of slacked this month and I was just so busy that when I started something, I just didn't have the motivation to write down when I started or when I finished something. So I don't have that for you this month, but hopefully next month I will start into that again. But these are my shorty socks. This main color is a lot more vibrant in person, but the color is really being washed out. Oops, hauled that off the needle. So I am doing these on 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars, and I did 10 rounds for the cuff, 15 rounds for the leg, then I went into the heel, and now I'm just past the gusset and I'm starting on the foot. So I am following not really a pattern. I believe the Crazy Sock Lady does have this pattern for shorty socks. If I can find it, I'll link it down below, but really I'm just following her vanilla sock pattern with a shorter cuff and shorter leg. So yes, like I said, 10 rounds for the cuff, 15 rounds for the leg, and then I started in on the heel. So this pink color that I'm going to be doing for just the cuff and heel is Pink Days in Bloom from Windswept Fibers, and both of these are leftovers that I have from my shawl that I showed you that I finished in the last episode. So Pink Days in Bloom by Windswept Fibers, and then this main color is George Street. I actually had a ton of this left, and I was gonna make a pillow like Stella quilt pillow with these two, but then I decided I really wanted to make socks, and I had a good few of this left, so this could make for a good few heels and cuffs for a bunch of different socks. Wally, do you want to say hi to the camera? This is my puppy Wallen. Say hi, Wallen. Say hi. He wanted to come say hi. You on your mom's knitting podcast? He's very sociable. He loves to be in front of the camera. Okay, and I guess you would have noticed by now that I switched locations today. I wanted to try something different. I didn't know how like the background with the TV was going, and then the lighting was just kind of weird, so I have a bit more natural light now with the window here. I wish I was facing the window, but it's just not the way my basement is laid out. But anyway, I'm now in this comfortable chair in a corner, and hopefully soon I will have a new location to film. Okay, so my next work in progress that I'm going to talk about is my Avena sweater. I'm almost through the chart repeats for the top. Yes. So this is how much I currently have done. So I've done a bit since the last episode. Let me see where my marker was. So I placed this marker, well, I guess I haven't done that much. I was right here, from here up the last episode, and I've done this much so far. I find this is a bit hard on the hands with the 2-stranded color work. So I do it in like small increments, but I think I only have like 6 rows left of the pattern, and then I can move into just the plain stockinette for the body, and I honestly cannot wait. So the yarn I'm using for this is, I didn't write it down. I know it was, I believe it's Lion Brand Feels Like Heaven, and this was in the shade Pale Blue, and this is in the shade White. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. If it's anything different, I'll put it up on the screen, but I'm almost confident that it's Lion Brand Feels Like Heaven. It's so soft, and I am knitting these on 3.5 millimeter needles. So this is the Avena sweater by Jennifer Steingass. And it's really fun. I loving the feather texture. It looks so good. What else do I need to say about that? Nothing, I don't think. Yeah, I think that's all for this sweater. So that's the progress that I've made so far. I just try and do like 1 or 2 rows of the pattern here lately. So I've only recently picked it back up. But I'm enjoying it, and that's all that matters. Okay, so my next work in progress is kind of a random one. I decided I wanted to make a pillow cover. So, oops, let me haul all my stitches off here. This is, I'm in the middle of a row, but this is how much I've done so far. I'm using this Loops and Thread polyester yarn. I think it was 100% polyester or something like that. Polyester yarn. It's so soft. And this is in the shade Lime Green. I have 2 balls of this color. Was it lime green or neon green? I think it was lime green. Of this, I have 2 balls of this color. I got it at Michael's. I think I might have showed it in my last video. I'm not sure. But I have 2 of these. They were on sale, or they were on clearance, so I'm not sure if you can even get this anymore. But I decided to make a pillow, so I don't know how many stitches I have on right now. I'm probably just going to increase until I have 100 stitches, and then decrease, and then I haven't decided if I'm going to make another one, like another piece the way I made this one, and then sew them together, or if I'm going to just sort of pick up the way that you pick up in the Stella quilt pattern, like when you pick up to do the back piece. I might just pick up that way, and then I won't have to sew it after. So yes, this is going to be such a nice pillow just to put on my bed. I was thinking of making a baby blanket out of it, but then I put it up to my face and I was like, no, I need this for myself. And I would have made a blanket, but I only have 2, and I think they're only 100-gram balls, so I don't think it would have been enough to make a decent sized blanket for me. But anyway, and I'm knitting these on, I have no idea what size needles these are. They were just random ones that I hauled out of my needle collection, and they don't have their size on them. But I just started with casting on 4 stitches, and then I slipped the first stitch purlwise just to create a clean edge, and then I knit into the front and back loop of the first stitch to increase, and then I just knit, and then on the opposite side I do the same thing and just purl across. And that's how I've been making this pillow. So hopefully I'll have that done for my next video. It's just really nice, easy knitting, but I haven't picked it up in a little bit because I've been focusing on my next work in progress. I'm going to show you. Okay, so the next work in progress I have to show you is a bit tangled up because the ball of yarn is falling apart, but I'm currently making, let me see, I put the name of this in my notes. Yes, so this is the Rainbow Ripple Baby Blanket by Celeste Young, and I got this pattern from the Crazy Sock Lady. She was making it, and I was like, yes, I need to make it. So it's just a baby blanket. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can really see it. This is what it looks like. It looks like a star. I had to start this twice because the first time I started it, I wasn't really getting the increases right. I'm not that great at reading my crochet. Like, I feel like I'm pretty good at reading my knitting, but when I'm reading crochet, I really can't tell like where I started. So I did have to end up placing a marker the second time, and that really helped. This yarn, I'm not sure what it is. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find it, but it's all falling apart right now. This is what it looks like. I got this in my advent calendar that my aunt made me this past Christmas. It came in like a cake. I have another one upstairs, so I'll put the name up on the screen, but I didn't think about it before I sat down to film. But yes, this is the baby blanket. Super easy. I really recommend, even if you're a beginner. It looks super complicated, looks super good, and it's so easy. And I'm crocheting this with a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. I think I just got this at Walmart or something. 4.5 millimeter. And I'm pretty sure that's what the pattern called for. So yes, this is the baby blanket that I'm making for a friend who is expecting. I'm just going to take a quick break from my works in progress because I realized I didn't mention what I was wearing. So I knit this sweater. I knit it like last year, so I'm not sure if I remember what the pattern is. It might be on my Ravelry, so I'll check and put it up on the screen or in the description box if I can find it. But I knit this in, oh my god, what was the yarn? I'm having a brain fart. I don't remember now. But again, I will put it up on the screen. I'm so disorganized today. I'll put it up on the screen, but I just thought I'd mention that I knit this sweater. It is super cozy. It was in, I want to say it was in a Loops and Threads yarn, but it's super duper duper soft. I love it. Okay, so for my next work in progress, I have my Musselburgh hat, which I have done quite a bit on since the last episode. I was where this little Christmas tree marker is the last episode, so I've knit quite a bit. I've been using this as my knitting that I do in the morning while I read. So this is all I have left, and I want to make this one a bit longer than I made my last one, so I'm going to knit until I have about maybe like 3 grams of this left, 3 or 4 grams, and do the crown, because I'm thinking if I don't have enough to completely finish the crown, I can just use a bit of scrap yarn where it does fold in on itself, and you wouldn't see that side anyway. But yes, so this is the Labradorite colorway on the silk sock base from Windswept Fibers, and it is beautiful. I love how those colors are blending together. And again, this is a super easy pattern for if you're just a beginner, because it's literally like knitting a giant tube of sock. The beginning is a little fiddly. I cast on a bit different, so if you would like me to, I don't know, somehow show you how I cast on just the top, like it's a paid for pattern, so I won't show you how I do the increases, but just how I cast on, and it's different from the pattern. But yeah, so that's what my hat is looking like. Hopefully I'll have this finished for the next episode. I definitely will. And I'm doing these on 3 millimeter, I believe. Yes, 3 millimeter Hiya sharps. I believe these are 32 inch, I think. Okay, so my next work in progress is another pair of socks, but this time these are toe-up socks. So I have knit toe-up socks before, but I didn't really like the heel and how it fit. So this time I think I'm going to do the, oh, what's it called? Oh my god, I'm blanking. I'll put it up on the screen, but that's the heel that I'm gonna do. And this is an old sock yarn. It was Bernat Socks, and I tried to look it up before I filmed this video. I tried to find the link to the yarn, but I couldn't find it. And I also don't know what colorway this is, because I bought this last summer, and when I was reorganizing my yarn stash, a lot of ones like this I kind of just took out and caked up and threw away the label, which I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, so these are my toe-up socks. This here is just where I put the heel, and so I'm gonna do an afterthought heel, and I'm almost finished with the ribbing here. I'm gonna do 20 rounds. So I did my toe. I cast on, or I'll link the pattern I followed down below, but you wrap around 14 times. So basically you end up with 14 stitches on each needle. And then I increased until I had my 32 stitches on each needle, so 64 stitches in total. And then I just knit my 50 rounds for the foot, put in my waist yarn for the heel, 60 rounds for the leg, and then I'm gonna do 20 rounds for the cuff. And I'm doing these on 2.25 millimeter needles, 32 inch circulars, magic loop. And I'm really enjoying these, so yeah. And this is only the first sock. That's as far as I've gotten. But yeah, and I'm just keeping these in my sock knitting bag from Midwest Stitches. The next work in progress I have is also another pair of socks. And these ones I was actually working on last night while we were at a hockey game, and my yarn got tangled up, so I'm gonna have to untangle that later. But these are the same Bernat sock yarn as, it was like Bernat Socks SOX. So it's the same yarn as the last pair that I showed you, and again, could not find the colorway. I think it's discontinued. I got it at a craft store like 2 years ago, I think. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. I do have the first sock finished, and it looks really nice. That's what the first one looks like. I still have some stitch markers on here. So that's the first sock, and then this is as far as I've gotten on the second. And I'm making these on 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars. I'm really loving the 9-inch circulars right now. And this is what my yarn looks like, and as you can see, it's a bit tangled, so I'll have to deal with that later. But I was at a hockey game working on those last night, so I could not untangle it in the middle of the game. And yes, I'm just keeping these in a yarn bag that my aunt made me. So yes, got coffee on it, which describes me perfectly because I'm obsessed with coffee. My next work in progress is another pair of socks, and one I actually have finished. So last week, in the last episode, I said that I showed you that I was making my pop a pair of socks with alpaca, 65% alpaca, and this is what the first one looks like. I'm just doing a ribbed sock. So my pop has big feet. He wears a size like 11 to 12 in men. So what I did was I cast on 72 stitches, and I'm doing these on 2.75 millimeter 9-inch circulars. So it was a bit hard on the hands, especially during the heel. But I cast on 72 stitches. I knit 40 rounds for the leg in rib, 2x2 rib. Then I did my slip stitch heel flap, and then I did 45 rounds for the foot after the gusset, because this is very stretchy and alpaca stretches, and I am probably going to block these just to be safe, but they should definitely fit his foot. And then this is all I have of this second sock, and I have the label here for the yarn. It's Black Label Farm in the shade Brown DK. It's 65% alpaca and 35% merino. 3-ply, 225 yards or 100 grams. And that's what the label looks like. And yeah, so that's as far as I've gotten on the second sock. I have 10, 20, yeah, I have about 30 rounds done. So 10 more rounds until I do the heel for that one. This is how much I had left of the first skein after I finished the first sock. So luckily I did buy 2 skeins. And I'm starting the second one, and with what I have left over, I might end up just making, I feel like this would be good for coasters or kind of like beer cozies, so maybe I will do that. But I'm making those for him for his birthday, which is May 2nd, and yes. So that's as far as I've gotten on those. I haven't been doing those as much. I'll probably only do like a few rounds a day because it is a bit hard on the hands. I probably should have done them on circular, like larger circulars, but it is what it is. It's fine once I get past the gusset. I find doing the gusset where there's so many additional stitches really hard on the hands. Okay, so my next knitting work in progress, I have only recently picked back up again, and I've started to use this as my morning reading instead of my Musselburgh hat. So I knit on this blanket while I'm reading in the mornings. So, this is just my scrappy colored blanket that I explained in the last video how I bought it as part of a kit, and I ended up not doing the cables, taking them all back, and just making a scrappy blanket. So let me see where I was during the last episode. So for the last episode, I was right here. So I've knit from the marker up since then, which isn't bad. I've only picked it up in the last like week or so. But this is getting so nice and big, and it's so nice to just put over your lap and snuggle in. It's so nice. Oh my god, this chair is gonna go back. But yes, so that is that work in progress. And I'm knitting these on 7mm needles. I think I might have cast on like 120 stitches, I think. Okay, and my final work in progress is my crochet granny stripe blanket, which I am loving, absolutely obsessed with it. It's looking so good. Hang on, this. I added in my second magic knot ball since the last video. I finished the first one, and now I'm on to the second. And I've done a fair bit on this since the last episode, so let me see. Yes. So this is what it's currently looking like. You can hear my dryer going off. But this is the marker. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. But that marker right there is where I was in the last episode, and this is how much I've done. So this is how much I have of the second magic knot ball, sorry. So I just have this left to add in. And then I have a tiny magic knot ball started, but I might have to pump the brakes on this for a while because I don't have many more these sock weight scraps until I finish up some other socks. So I chained 300 stitches, and I'm using a 3mm crochet hook, and it's super easy. I'll link the pattern down below. Super easy. And I got that idea from the Crazy Sock Lady. Okay, moving on to finished objects. So I have two finished objects. The first one I'm going to show you is another baby blanket that I have finished. So this is what it looks like. I finally finished it, and I added a white rimmed border. It still needs to be blocked. As you can see, it's folding a bit. But yes, so I will link the pattern to this down below because it wasn't a pattern for a baby blanket. It was just a YouTube video for a crochet chevron stitch. And then I kind of just followed another YouTube video to do the shell around the edge, but I kind of did it from memory. So I like single crocheted 3 rows around in the white around the whole blanket, and then I just did like 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets in one, and then I single crocheted in the next 3, and then just repeated that all the way around. And this is what it looks like. I used a 5mm crochet hook for this blanket, and it turned out wonderful. So yes, I do need to block it, but that's it, then it's finished. So can't wait to give that to another friend who's expecting. Okay, and my final work in progress is my self-making socks that I was knitting in my last video. These are the ones with the long cuffs. So I'll show you on the blockers. This is what they look like. Really nice color. But I don't know what I did. I must have started it wrong. Because I did end up having to break the yarn and then take it from the opposite direction when I did the cuff on the second one, because it was not nearly as long as the cuff on the first one. But you live and you learn. So I'll just take one off. But these are how long the cuffs are, like obnoxiously long. And you can see a little bit there. I haven't really woven these in yet, but where I had to break the yarn and keep it purple. But yes, so this is what the socks look like. I'm super happy with how they turned out, and they're very, very comfortable. I haven't worn them yet, but I did try them on. And yes, that is all. I knit those on 2.25 millimeter 30-inch circulars, 32-inch circulars. Yeah, and I just sort of followed the vanilla sock pattern, but it's self-striping yarn. And I know that is the Ernie and Carlos Perfect, Regia Perfect, but I'm not sure the colorway because I looked on Amazon, which is where I got it, and I couldn't find it. So I'll look again. If I can find it, I'll link it down below, but it was weird. But yes, that is all I had to show you for today. It was a lot more than I thought there would be. I can't believe the next video that I film, I will be finished school. So I'm finished now for my exams. I have an exam on April 11th, which is my med-surg exam, and I have a microbiology exam on the 16th, and then I start my extended practice for 3 weeks, which is just clinical practice, and then I'm finished for the summer. And I'm taking some courses over the summer, so I'm not really done, but all my nursing courses will be finished, so that's a blessing. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the new background. Let me know down below. Let me know what you're working on, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.